These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan.
It's been a good season.
They cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try.
Charles Barkley has just made headlines in the WNBA by calling for Sheryl Swoopes' immediate firing to protect Caitlin Clark. But what's really driving Barkley's heated demand? The controversy seems to center around a significant clash between the old guard and the new stars of the WNBA.
If you got people in a room, if you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
You see, Swoopes has been targeting Clark, and Barkley is not having it. He believes this could jeopardize the future of the league.
Girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA.
She turned the Fever were 1-8. They have a winning record now.
But the number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness.
Can you believe how intense this situation is becoming? Barkley is clearly hinting at Sheryl Swoopes in his remarks.
So, damn, what is going on here? And
well, you got accused of that stuff too, with the older players being resentful of the new generation. It's kind of part of the basketball process. Everybody thinks their generation's the best.
No. Anytime we say something about guys, it ain't the old get off my lawn guy.
Yeah.
But the stuff toward her is petty and jealous.
I completely agree. The WNBA is at a crossroads and needs to act swiftly. On one side, there are legends like Swoopes who helped build the league, and on the other, rising stars like Clark are generating fresh excitement and attracting new fans. What's crucial now is that if the WNBA doesn't navigate the situation carefully, they risk losing everything they've achieved, including fans, sponsors, and potentially the next generation of players. The clock is ticking, and the entire basketball world is watching to see how the WNBA and Caitlin Clark would respond.
And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. And now, when I watch her, two things I like. She's playing much faster.
Yeah.
Much faster. She was playing too slow the first half of the season.
I think she was tired. I think she was banged up from the college season.
They didn't even give her the understanding, like, you girls been ready for the WNBA season. Y'all been working out on the no-strip. She came straight out of college. You had to go right to the WNBA like 2 weeks later.
While the WNBA figures out its next move, Caitlin Clark isn't waiting around. She's rewriting the playbook and leaving jaws on the floor. Remember that 1-18 record the Fever had. Clark didn't just turn it around, she completely flipped the script. What's her secret, and why are some WNBA veterans swaying?
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
Let's talk numbers because Clark's stats are off the charts. She's averaging 25 points per game this season, an impressive figure that puts her squarely in Rookie of the Year territory. But here's where it gets even more remarkable. She's not just scoring.
Here for the Fever, good ball movement on this possession.
Goods here. Apparently, all the accolades that Caitlin Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims here.
You know, when she's in college, she's not passing to a bunch of great players. Now you can see when she plays, she's playing a lot without the ball. She reminds me a lot of Jason Kidd.
Now you might be thinking, okay, but lots of rookies have hot starts. True, but Clark is different. She's not just racking up stats, she's leading her team to victories. That 1-18 record is ancient history now. Clark has guided the Fever on a winning streak that's got the whole league talking. It's not just about the wins, it's how she's achieving them.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with? Now, I'm not going to put Asia Wilson in there. I'm just saying between these two. Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor.
Take that game against the Chicago Sky. Clark didn't just play well. She exploded for a career-high 31 points. Can you imagine being a WNBA vet and watching this rookie drop 31 on you like it's nothing? That's the kind of performance that shifts perceptions. It's no longer just about talent. It's about the impact she's making.
He has 7 straight with 20 or more. That is a franchise record. Clark regularly seeing 2 there in the backcourt, and that is Indiana's 10th turnover here. Clark being watched by Nurse. Clark on the drive. Clark hangs and banks it home.
And speaking of impact, let's discuss what Clark is doing for the WNBA as a whole. She's not just winning games, she's winning fans. Ticket sales are up, TV ratings are climbing, and suddenly everyone's talking about women's basketball. Notably, Charles Barkley took notice. He remarked that these ladies could not have ruined this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried, highlighting how incredible her influence has been on the WNBA.
But these ladies, who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have fucked this thing up any worse. Because we have talked, and talking about A'ja Wilson's the best woman player in the world right now. She's incredible. Connecticut Sun's having a great year. The Minnesota Lynx is having a great year. But there's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousy.
But here's where things get complicated. Not everyone is thrilled about Clark's success. Some WNBA veterans are feeling the pressure, watching this rookie come in and change the game. It's making them nervous because Clark isn't just good. She's adaptable. Barkley highlighted that her ability to play fast and trust her teammates is crucial to her success. She's not just skilled, she's smart.
I love the way and I'll tell you what really good happened to her, not making the Olympic team.
Totally agree. Well, it also gave her a break.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Giving her that time off has given her a chance to recharge her batteries. So it ended up, she probably did deserve to make the Olympic team on merit, but her getting that time off probably was the best thing happened to her.
Well, the other thing that happened, her teammates, you could see like a little osmosis. You watch that team now and they're pretty unselfish to watch. Like they're making extra passes, and it's the kind of stuff that happens when you're playing with a great...
So, what does all this mean for the WNBA? It's straightforward. Clark is transforming the game both on and off the court. She's drawing in new fans, elevating the level of play, and pushing everyone to raise their game. But with such significant change comes resistance, and that's where the drama begins.
Sheryl Swoopes, take notes. You ain't playing no more. But you're a Hall of Famer, and a champion, and a basketball savant. You know good and damn well you had no business talking about the Indiana Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark. Come on, Sheryl Swoopes. Come on.
The drama's heating up, and it's not just on the court. Remember Sheryl Swoopes, the WNBA icon? She's making waves, but this time it's not for her game. What did she say about Caitlin Clark that got Charles Barkley so fired up?
Yeah, apparently all the accolades that Caitlin Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims here.
Swoopes didn't hold back when discussing Clark. She accused the rookie of taking too many shots and even questioned her legitimacy as a young star. Can you believe it? A legend of the game publicly calling out the new face of the WNBA. Swoopes went as far as to say that Clark wasn't legitimate because she was in her 5th year of play. It's a pretty harsh critique of someone who's generating so much attention for the league.
But if you're going to break a record, this isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record...
Just so you know, this is 100% about Caitlin.
If it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year.
What the hell are you talking about? That's stupid.
At an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? I don't know.
You think exactly how I
don't think so, but yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's...
Swoopes criticized Clark for taking too many shots and questioned her legitimacy. It's surprising to see such criticism of the league's new star, especially given the attention Clark is bringing.
It's kind of settled down. Now, see, the angry OGs of the WNBA have nowhere to turn. Sports don't want to see other women in sports succeed. And I started thinking about what my wife said, and she gave me examples, and boy, was she right. Sheryl Swoopes is still hanging on. Still hanging on. I mean, the nasty one is still there. Why do I call her the nasty one? Well, because she was so nasty, according to everybody that I know, and I know a lot of people in the Chicago area, when she was coaching at Loyola. And she got fired for being...
Here's where it gets really wild. Charles Barkley, the NBA legend himself, has stepped in. He's not just disagreeing with Swoopes. He's calling for her to be removed from broadcasts. Barkley believes Swoopes' criticism is harming her own reputation and the future of the league. He stated that you can't let this kind of jealousy jeopardize the future of a player like Clark, who is bringing fresh attention to the WNBA.
Got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you know, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you know, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. You know, it's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone and I was like, Sheryl, you know, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship, it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life. I'd rather have her in it.
You might be wondering if this is just a case of sour grapes. Well, the WNBA and Nancy Lieberman seem to think there's substance to Barkley's concerns. They decided to take Swoopes off the broadcast for the Fever's game against the Dallas Wings. The league's decision to remove a legend like Swoopes from broadcasting raises significant questions about their trust in her impartiality regarding Clark. This move essentially suggests they don't trust Swoopes to be fair when discussing their new star.
What I do know didn't happen was a phone call from her. Nancy Lieberman decided she was going to be upset.
One thing about women, they will sever a relationship quick behind anything, behind any disagreement. Now, me and you, we can agree to disagree.
And we're going to do the show tomorrow.
And we're going to be straight. But the fact that the relationship was severed because there was a difference in opinion.
Let's break this down further. Why would Swoopes, a three-time WNBA MVP, feel compelled to criticize Clark so harshly? Barkley attributes it to jealousy, suggesting that Swoopes' criticism stems from petty jealousy towards Clark's success and the attention she's generating for the WNBA. It seems that Swoopes might be feeling threatened by the rookie's immediate impact.
It has to be Sheryl Swoopes saying something about Caitlin Clark that's not factual.
Ocho.
And not wanting to take accountability as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And I don't get. See, this is what I'm having.
Here's where it gets interesting. The WNBA's decision to replace Swoopes with Ron Thulin and Nancy Lieberman for the broadcast sends a clear message. They're not just protecting Clark. They're safeguarding the future of the league. Think about it. If you're a young player watching this, what message does it send if the league allows its legends to trash talk the new generation?
Gravy train. The league removed Grumpy from the broadcast of Sunday's Indiana-Dallas game. Swoopes is so filled with jealousy, she can't be trusted to call Clark's games in a fair manner. Nancy Lieberman replaced Swoopes and immediately called BS on the contrived Clark-Reese rookie battle. Because she can't be trusted to call Caitlin Clark games correctly or fairly, they basically pulled her off the game for racism. You're too much of a bigot to call Caitlin Clark games. We're pulling you off the game. What?
So now the WNBA is in a tough spot. They have to balance respecting their legends while also supporting their new stars. It's not just about Swoopes and Clark anymore. It's about the future of women's basketball as a whole. How the league handles this situation could set a precedent for years to come.
But the game is growing. And all these women, I'm glad that some of the women, I wish that a lot of the women could have been in it and benefited from it. Because they don't make nearly, I mean, I think the highest salary you can make is $250,000. Well, those women, the Sheryl Swoopes and the Candace Parkers, I don't think they were ever in line to make that kind of money.
Right.
And it's only going up from here.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty.
Charles isn't just throwing shade. He's got a game plan for the WNBA's future, and it's not what you'd expect from an NBA legend. But here's the kicker. It might be exactly what women's basketball needs right now.
I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes.
So, what's Barkley's big idea? It's all about embracing the new wave of talent. He's advocating for the WNBA to fully support players like Caitlin Clark because these rising stars are bringing fresh energy and new fans to the game.
He's not very good.
Right.
So, but we're not, what's bad, instead of talking about all the good things happening for the WNBA, we're talking about negativity. And all publicity, that used to be that old saying, all publicity is good publicity. No, it's not. Not when you're a niche sport.
Think about it. Clark isn't just putting up impressive numbers, she's changing the entire vibe of the league. Tickets are selling out, TV ratings are up, and suddenly everyone's talking about women's basketball. The Indiana Fever, in particular, are benefiting from this surge in attention.
Indiana Fever got her pick because they were the worst team. And so obviously they need...
Hey, and listen, 2 years in a row.
Right.
So they had the number one pick last year, and they were so bad they got it again. So, and like I say, she was gonna go through some growing pains, but like I say, it's just a lot of petty jealousy out there, and it's really unfortunate. It's taken away from the women's game because no matter what sport, if you're talking more about something other than the sport, because they got some great players in the WNBA. The Aces, they got Asia Wilson's probably the best female player in the world. She's trying to get a three-peat. We haven't even mentioned her at all. I saw
It's about more than just putting new faces on posters. Barkley suggests the league needs to overhaul its entire strategy. This means rethinking everything from how games are broadcast to how players are marketed.
The Connecticut Sun, I think they're like 8-0. We haven't even mentioned them. So this is just taken away from the...
Imagine a WNBA where every game feels like a must-watch event. Social media is buzzing with highlights, and fans can't stop talking about last night's game. That's the kind of excitement Barkley envisions if the league plays its cards right.
Really unfortunate, and it just and I like the way she's handling. She hasn't said anything because you got so many fools out here who got opinions, unfortunately, negative opinions on television, on radio, and things like that. So I'm glad she's staying above the fray.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Barkley isn't just talking about short-term gains. He's focused on the long game. By supporting players like Clark, he believes the WNBA can build a stronger foundation for the future. This means inspiring the next generation of players, attracting more sponsors, and possibly even expanding the league.
So, and like I say, she was gonna go through some growing pains, but like I say, it's just a lot of petty jealousy out there, and it's really unfortunate. It's taken away from the women's game, because no matter what sport, if you're talking more about something other than the sport, because they got some great players in the WNBA. The Aces, they got Asia Wilson's probably the best female player in the world. She's trying to get a three-peat, and we haven't even mentioned her.
Now you might be thinking, that all sounds great, but what about the veterans? That's a fair question. Barkley isn't suggesting that the league forget about the players who built it. Instead, he's advocating for finding a way to bridge the generational gap, ensuring that both the legends and the new stars are valued and integrated into the future of the WNBA.
Curry. When I look at Caitlin Clark, fans are tuning in to watch her. And you know who that's helping? Everybody else. It's helping the Asia Wilsons. It's helping everybody else, the Plums, all that. It's helping all of them, the Tarasis. So y'all should be really thanking her, embracing her. And that does not mean you guys are not ball.
So how could this shift change public perception of women's basketball? Look at what's happening with Clark. People who've never watched a WNBA game before are tuning in to see what the fuss is about. And many are sticking around to discover a whole new world of incredible athletes and exciting games. The WNBA is at a crossroads and needs to act quickly. It's not just about Swoopes and Clark anymore. It's about the future of women's basketball. On one side, you have the legends who built the league, and on the other, rising stars who are bringing in new fans and excitement. If the WNBA doesn't handle this correctly, they risk losing everything they've worked for. Charles Barkley is clear. The league needs to embrace change and support its new talent or risk losing it all. Ticket sales are up, TV ratings are climbing, and everyone's talking about women's basketball.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA.